that both his sons will die, and that the kahuna will go from his line, and they'll be poor. They won't be able to continue. They'll have to beg for help from the other kohanim. Okay, that was the end of Perek Bet. And then, yes.
Were they considered rich or not? Because they got food.
Nachon. They had food, they had trumot, and they were constantly, but the truth is that there were, like, at least after David, there were 24 mishmarot. You served 2 weeks in the Mikdash. You weren't in the Mikdash eating the basar that frequently, but they have the truma that everybody's giving, like the truma, and they have other, like, everything, like maser bema, like whatever it is, the other from the Mikdash. Right, there are things that they get. Are they considered rich?
Something that was kedai, because everybody wants to be a kohen.
Everybody wanted to be a kohen?
Well, there will be these, people that became,
Oh, you're saying later, like mamash later. I think it's a matter. They were considered like the noblemen in some ways, like, right? Because they're the closest to Hashem. They have status, and it is a kavod, but I mean it's a responsibility. Like most kavods, it's not really kavod. Like it's a really hard work, but it's a responsibility. Okay, so then we had what we could call the dedication of Shmuel, right, when he calls out to him. And I really was struck this week because the haftarah this last Shabbat was the dedication of Yirmiyahu, okay? And then he comes to him, and then Yirmiyahu, he's like, I've dedicated you from birth, and you're going to speak for me. And then Yirmiyahu is like, it's like that's the first word, but also that he starts off with 2 nevot puranut, like with Yirmiyahu, and so it's a much more like shocking coming into this nevuah, while with Shmuel, again, and I don't think Yirmiyahu is a child when he gets the nevuah the first time, and here you have Shmuel, who really is a child, and it comes so gently, this Shmuel, and he thinks Eli's calling him, but then it's not. But it's not Eli 3 times, right? We went through that, and Basaf, Eli says, no, it's Hashem. Say Daber Hashem, and then Shmuel understands that he should just say Daber, and then Hashem gives a nevuah which we didn't read. Okay, so let's just go back a couple of psukim. פסוק ט' ויאמר אלי לשמואל לך שכב והיה אם יקרא אליך ואמרת דבר השם כי שומע עבדך וילך שמואל וישכב במקומו. Right, so Eli tells him, tell Hashem to talk because I'm listening, and then when it actually happens ויבוא השם ויתייצב ויקרא כפעם בפעם שמואל ויאמר שמואל דבר כי שומע עבדך. Okay, and he doesn't say Hashem. Like, let's say it's not Hashem. So that and there we saw that, like, Chacham learns from what he's told, and he goes even further. Okay. So do you guys have the source sheets, right? Okay. So it's Perek Gimel, the second page. Okay. So Pasuk Yud Aleph. ויאמר השם אל שמואל הנה אנוכי עושה דבר בישראל אשר כל שומעו תצלנה שתי אוזניו. And I actually just realized right now Shmuel also gets a bad nevuah, meaning like Yirmiyahu gets puranut that's shoked, Hashem is shoked to do on Israel, and here is also a very difficult nevuah. But what he says, I'm going to do something to Israel that anybody who hears it, their ears are going to ring, okay? So meaning like, as in like, zeazua, like they'll be so shocked by what's going to be. And here Rashi says, I think I brought it. Pasuk Yud Aleph. I did bring it. Yes. Oseh dvar ze galuta aron. Okay. We can't imagine. We don't have the aron, but like the aron is going to be taken. Okay. That's the zeazua. Okay. ביום ההוא אקים אל אלי ואת כל אשר דיברתי אל ביתו החל וכלה. on that day I will start the punishment I said to Eli, and what I promised would be, and it's going to start and it will finish, but it will really only finish in David and Shlomo's time. והגדתי לו כי שופט אני את ביתו עד עולם בעוון אשר ידע כי מקללים להם בניו ולא כי בהם. Okay, so and I'm telling him that I am the shofet forever on the avon that his sons did, that he knew his sons were doing. Ki mekalalim, and that we have to figure out what is that. What exactly is the mekalalim here? Levete Eli, lehem banav velo ki habahem, and so he gives Eli responsibility to what's happening. Well, we talked about this last time a little bit, like. How much do we blame Eli for what his sons are doing? But clearly, the ish tochacha, we did see that Eli said, "Lo tov ma she'atem osim," but apparently that wasn't enough. And here, so first of all, the mekalalim, Rashi says, "Ki mekalalim lehem banav mekalalim li haya lo lomar." It should be. It says that they're cursing me. Like they're doing something wrong to me. Kina katuv. Like the katuv didn't want to say that. Okay, they're mekalalim. That's not the way everybody understands it. Mekalalim mekelim. V'chen kol klala lashon kalut uvizayonhu. When you curse somebody, you're putting it down. You're mevazet. You're what's the mevazet in English? What? Making light of it, but also the bizayon is what's the word in English? Bizayon. Insulting, but it's more than insulting. I think it's like you're demeaning it. You're demeaning it. I think that would be the right word. And loki habem, and he didn't say anything or change their position.
Which is interesting because we're going after Parshat Pinchas. Svadamet was exactly talking about that what was it about that was so unique about what he did. He said that a lot of people were doing things that were so wrong. Because why would he get Kahuna after that made it Zosha? That also sometimes that when things that are bad that are going on around you and you don't do anything,
it's also a problem.
Like you're partaking in what they're doing, even if you didn't. And there, it was the whole nation is not doing anything about it, including the leaders. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not blaming Moshe. I'm just saying, yeah. Okay. And here the Radak. So I wanted to just bring him about the lo ki habahem, that he didn't object to them. Lo atzram v'lo mana'am. So he didn't stop them. We're in 16. Afal pisha amar al b'nai ki lo tova shmua, ze haya le'et ziknuto, shelo hayu yira'im mimeno, u'mitchilat hasotav et hara'ah haya lo leman'am. Okay? So here the Radak says, like, yeah, we heard him say something, but that was also when he was older, and they're not really listening to him anymore. And really, it was when they started doing the bad stuff is when he should have said something. So that's one opinion. And then I also brought the Malbim.
But it's interesting that we're also looking at Shmuel, who is now a young person, and it's almost like the opposite of, here you are, you're older, it's bad, you need a fresh pair of eyes.
Right, nachon. Except for he's not really, like, he's not going to say it's really Dvar Hashem.
No, I know.
But Shmuel could change the reality. I mean, he's not a Kohen.
No, but I think Eli was, and really what Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted.
Nachon, he just didn't do it. Nachon.
A little strength,
no, again, I do want to go back to Rav Rosen in his book. He does say that there's, in Eli and his house, there's a misunderstanding of how things are supposed to be, that they're understanding it as sort of like, it's more like there's the Mikdash and then there's the Aron, and it's the symbols are much more important than the actual actions. Like, and that's why they're going to die when it happens.
That's like Avodah Zarah, like the symbol.
Nachon, biduk, and it's a misunderstanding of how we're really supposed to serve Hashem. It's much more important the actions and how we're doing things. And so this would fit in there in that theory very nicely. Okay, so the Malbim says also, he points out, like, the fact that it's coming twice, and the Malbim says it's coming twice, one after another, that the Navi the Ish Elokim that came in the last parak, this nevuah comes right after that happened. So that it's like a kefel, that it's very clear that Hashem is very serious about this. Madua kufel nevuah zot shenit, achar shebo bayom, he says it's bo bayom, ba isha elokim el eli, v'niba zot, omer ki ba'et niba ish elokim bayom haya adayin gzar din, she'en imo shvuah, v'haya lo od refuah al yedei tshuva u'masim tovim, lo ken ata. And so here the Malbim says that there's a difference between when the Ish Elokim comes, there is still a possibility to do something, and we're going to see in the next pasuk, now there's a shvuah. Like, this is happening. When Hashem gives a shvuah, it's happening, and there's nothing you can do about it. אחר שכבר הגדתי לו על ידי הנביא, שבא ביום כי שופט אני את ביתו עד עולם וכולי, הנה הגדתי לו ותרתי בו כי בעוון שידע שבניו מקללים, אשפוט את ביתו עד עולם. Okay, so it's going to be forever. And I think also, the Malbim says, maybe I didn't bring it, but he also says that the klala that they're doing is that they're bringing klala on themselves. Like the klalim lo is like to bring a klala on themselves. Or they're making it that Hashem is, the other people are singing badly. Okay, so pasuk Yudalet. ולכן, as we see now, שבועה, ולכן נשבעתי לבית אלי אם יתכפר עוון בית אלי בזבח ובמנחה עד עולם. It's still, for me, mind-boggling. The ramifications of what Hofni and Pinchas did is like ad olam. It's like sometimes things that you do have long term doesn't cover it. נכון, which is interesting. נכון, ממש. And even though Eli was a good person, like even though Eli himself wasn't doing that, but also the responsibility of a father, and when people are doing something wrong, what he needs to do. Okay, so this is the first nevuah Shmuel gets. But remember, Eli is his teacher. Eli is his mentor at this point, or father even. Like he is the person who's raising him.
He might not know the prophecy that Eli taught about his sons, right? Nachon.
Well, I don't know. I guess I assume that if the Ish Elokim comes to talk to Eli, it's pretty public, and Shmuel will probably be around. Not necessarily. Okay. It's true.
It was a personal thing to him. It wasn't for public knowledge. I mean, they weren't embarrassing.
Nachon, יכול להיות. Let's just see if there's in the psukim anything. You're right. We don't know. I'm pretty sure we don't know. I'm just making sure. There's nothing in the psukim that like v'yavo isha elokim el Eli v'yomer elav. You're right. It could be. It's private. It could be. I guess. By the way, Chazal say it's Elkanah, like meaning. But even if it's private with Eli, Shmuel is mesharet et Eli. How many things did Eli do that Shmuel didn't know about? Like I'm saying, like when you have a mesharet, most of the time you're hearing. But I don't think it's actually important or not. Like meaning he's getting this nevuah separate and lo kashur. And I'm sure that Shmuel understood that Hofni and Pinchas were doing something wrong. Yeah, like he could see that it was wrong. Okay.
Do you know how long Shmuel's been with Eli?
How old is he? Yeah, no, I don't know. I can look into that, see if I can find it out. At this point, I don't know. Okay. I'm happy to look into it. How old is Shmuel? And we might not know when he gets, but it could be Chazal say something gets it. Okay. All right. So וישכב שמואל עד הבוקר. ויפתח את דלתות בית השם, ושמואל ירא מהגיד את המראה אל אלי. So funnily enough, he doesn't really want to say it, but the only reason that Eli is going to make sure he tells him is because he ran 3 times to Eli, because he knows he got Dvar Hashem. So, and Hashem sovev et hadavar. We talked about that last time. Like Hashem sovev et hadavar, that Eli knows that Shmuel is getting nevuah. And he, by the way, the Yiftach Dlatot Beit Hashem is one of the jobs of the Leviim, is to open the doors of the Mishkan, Mikdash. ויקרא אלי את שמואל, ויאמר שמואל בני, ויאמר הנני. Okay, it's like a little akedah, a little bit like ringing here, but okay, so Shmuel, he calls him Bni, right? Notice, and he says, I'm here. ויאמר, מה הדבר אשר דיבר אליך? אל נא תכחד ממני, כה יעשה לך אלוקים וכה יוסיף, אם תכחד ממני דבר מכל הדבר אשר דיבר אליך. Okay, so Eli says, what did Hashem say? And not only that, if you don't tell me everything that he said, ko ya'aseh lecha elokim. Okay, so what's ko ya'aseh lecha elokim? And so Chazal say, it's like he say, what was said to me will happen to you. And then Chazal here say, I think, I didn't bring it. Chazal here say,
That's a threat.
Yeah.
yes,
No, but you know
he
what
wants
also-
him to tell him.
No, but also, can I tell you, he knows that he keeps waking up. He recognizes the fact that it could be
He's very young.
being given. He also waits till the whole morning to find out what he said. It's like, I don't know. I think I'd want to know why all of a sudden
I
now-
agree, but he doesn't know when exactly the Nevuah is going to come, and second of all, it could be it wasn't so much before the morning. We talked
Okay.
because we said it was before the Ner had gone out, but it
okay.
means that like we
Alright.
don't. It's somewhere, it's a few hours, whatever it is, and like, so he threatens, and here Chazal say, and I don't think I did bring it. It's the Radak. כל מה שהיה אומר היה בא. Oh, no, that's Shmuel.
But even the fact that Shmuel stays there isn't the fact that he's
Oh, yeah, it's the
himself,
Radak.
himself. Like, he just gets Nevuah now for the first time.
Yeah.
Like he's
It's
saying-
Eli that says saying this.
What?
Eli is saying to him,
No, but
oh,
I'm saying that when Shmuel gets him and then he says he stays there, he like, it sounds like he's asleep.
it could be,
I'm saying, is
yeah.
it process, like, meaning,
But I would think you're a kid and then something talks to you, and then you're just lying there trying to, okay,
Yeah.
like, but also it said something very harif, and Bemet, it's manyan if he knew what the other one. Go tell, בדיוק, נכון, that's true. נכון, and that we had.
I would have liked to have been the fly on the wall.
Oh, I know, right? We all want to be right.
What's going on?
Right, so I want to go back also to something we learned last week in 11. The Malbim talks about that there's different kinds of nevuah. Okay, there's nevuah where you, so first of all, he talks about nevuah that's just like, you just, muskelet, which is like, you'll have very clear, it's very clear to you. And sometimes it's like tzurot, and then he says, okay, tzurot, and then later on he says, "V'dati b'zeh shenivua ze lo ba'al Shmuel b'torat shlichut, rak b'torat hoda'ah bilvad." He didn't have any. Often a nevuah said, "Go and tell this and this." He didn't have that here. Absolutely right. Here it's just like, I'm just telling you, this is what's going to happen. Okay, and this is a shvuah. Now again, because of the way it happened, Eli knows, and then it's clear that Eli is going to get him to say it. Okay. Also, I just right. So not just as threatened here. Chazal say that teaches us that when a chacham, is it in the Radak? Kenu minag halashon le'emor davar ze b'shvuah. Okay, וכן כה יעשה לאלוקים, ובדרש, כה יעשה לך אלוקים, you'll get what I got if you don't tell me everything. כשם שאין בני יורשים את מקומי, כך אין בניך יורשים את מקומך. Okay? And Chazal say, it shows you that when a chacham gives a kalala or something, it's going to happen. Even if you didn't even if Shmuel did what he said, he did exactly what he wanted. But because he had said those words, it happened to some extent, okay? Which he's not going to get everything that Eli got, but his sons are not going to follow him. They're also going to be not good, and then the people choose a king instead, okay? So, which is harif, but people, chacham and tzaddik people need to be careful what they say. ממש. Hashem medagdek עם הצדיקים, right? Right, so he threatens, and I think maybe Eli feels he has to also maybe threaten because maybe the nevuah was a difficult one and that Shmuel isn't going to want to tell him.
That was the fact that Shmuel didn't get up in the middle of the night.
And tell, maybe also that right, exactly. You told me to say Dvar Hashem. Well, here's Dvar Hashem. He didn't come forth with it, so maybe Eli feels he has to.
It was obvious it was going to be a negative nevuah, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be if really it was the same day as the Ish Elokim came, then that makes sense. But I don't know if it's obvious. I don't know. I mean, maybe Eli knows deep down. But ויגד לו שמואל את כל הדברים ולא כאחד ממנו. ויאמר השם הוא הטוב בעיניו יעשה. Okay, so Eli מקבל עליו את הדין, and not only that, there's an aspect here that there's a shvuah. Eli hears the shvuah. Once it's a shvuah, there's nothing we can do about this. Like he realizes, I can't change anything, and therefore all he can do is לקבל את הדין. ויגדל שמואל, והשם היה עמו, ולא הפיל מכל דבריו ארצה. Okay? And here the Radak says, ולא הפיל מכל דבריו ארצה. כל מה שהיה אומר היה בא. Anything Shmuel predicted, that's what would happen. והקדוש ברוך הוא מקיים על ידו. אפילו הדברים שהיה אומר שלא ברוח נבואה. ובזה דבר ידעו כל ישראל כי נאמן שמואל לנביא השם ותרגומו ולא בטיל מכל פתגמייהו לערה. Like anything he said. It wasn't just his nevuot. He was just a person that reflected whatever Hashem, like was Navi Hashem. And he represented it with also in who he was. And that everything he said also was true. Again, I think also in contrast to Eli and his sons. Okay? That there was they're representing and they're not as people of Hashem. וידע כל ישראל מדן ועד באר שבע כי נאמן שמואל לנביא להשם. I mean, I think this is also a bit mind-boggling. Remember, there hasn't been somebody so accepted in all of Shoftim's time. Like hundreds of years, since Yeshua maybe, right? Everybody knows this is a Navi Hashem. And I mean, there's been a few people. There's been Torah. There's been some people on the way, but to this extent, Midan ad Beersheva, the acceptance and the respect, it's a big deal. ויוסף השם ליראו בשילה, כי נגלה השם אל שמואל בשילה בדבר השם. Okay, and he continues. He's in Shiloh, and Dvar Hashem keeps coming in Shiloh. Remember, at the beginning we said that Nevuah was very scarce, and now Nevuah is going to start flowing. Okay, and it starts with Shmuel, and then he has also a school, and then there's more Nevi'im, and it's this flow of Nevuah and Kesher to Hashem that's going to happen. I think we read it last time. This that there was. The Nevuah wanted to come, and it just needed a crack. And then Shmuel became that crack, and then it flows through, and then it spills over because it so wants to come.
But obviously he knew that he was in bad position, because otherwise Nevuah would come from him.
Eli, mamash.
They already said the reason that it was so him last time was wasn't on the level.
Right.
And
it could be he got it the past.
He would have been the one in the place that would have been getting.
Yes.
Somebody younger than him is getting, obviously shows that he's being threatened that there's something.
Yeah, and I think also that he must one page of stuff. Yeah, I think that also he probably got Nevuah at some point in his life. If he knew what to tell Shmuel. He must have had some kesher himself.
He was a Navi.
Eli. I mean, we don't see it in the text. All I'm saying was not. I'm just saying clearly he knows what it is to get Dvar Hashem. But what we've seen is that his kesher is a little bit off, like with Hannah, with Shmuel, like there's and is with his sons not being able to tell them off. Like there's something missing there. But I imagine when he was younger, he had, and he also had the room for Tumi, like he had that kesher. Nachon.
Like, are they not all Nevi'im?
I mean, all the Shoftim, not all of them are Nevi'im.
But they were going to what?
All the Shoftim? No, some of them had Ruach Hashem, like, especially the last ones, Yiftach and Shimshon, right? Again, Eli might have been different because he had the Urim and Tumim, and he had, and clearly, as you see in the story with Shmuel, he has an idea of what's happening here. But clearly something now is.
They're coming to the Mishkan, and word is going out
Nachon.
to everybody.
Nachon.
There is a certain achdut here that everybody.
Nachon. Everybody's one in this.
Okay.
Nachon. I mean, when he does become a shofet, which I don't think is quite now, he travels everywhere, and that's the example that Chazal bring. That is the way to be a shofet, is that you go there and teach them, and you go from place to place, and you pass it on. So that's also that will also happen. But nachon, somehow the word is getting out, and it's clear that Shiloh, which didn't exist in Shoftim, only as when Pilegesh Bagiva guy says, I'm on my way to Shiloh. That was the only time that Shiloh is mentioned. Here suddenly Shiloh is like the place. Bring everybody. Nachon. Elkanah, and I think that Elkanah and Hannah bring the possibility that Shmuel and being together. Okay, so Perek Daled. Okay, Vehi dvar Shmuel lechol Yisrael, vayitze Yisrael likrat plishtim lemilchama, vayachanu el ha'even ha'ezer, uplishtim chanu be'ofek. Okay, so first of all, Vehi dvar Shmuel lechol Yisrael. What does it sound like? And he told them. So that I think is the Radak. Is it the Radak? Yeah, the Radak. He says, "Klomar tziva otam letzet b'dvar Hashem vayitzu, v'tziva otam letzet lehinagef lifnei plishtim lefi shayu anushim." They needed to get a punishment. וחייבים את המשפט הזה, וכן במלחמת הגבעה ציווה אותם לעלות וינגפו. Okay, so Radak takes it literally. He gives them the tzivui to go to war with Plishtim, and Hashem tells them to do this because they need to get this punishment. Oh, again, he had a nevuah. We're going to see it's going to be a fulfillment of the nevuah. Rashi doesn't quite take it. He says, what Shmuel said, what Hashem said to Shmuel is now going to happen, right? He dvar Shmuel. Now it doesn't fit exactly because it should say Vayi dvar Hashem el Shmuel v'yitzei Israel, but Rashi is saying is more like Shmuel. Hashem told Shmuel there's going to be a poranut. Those are the words that was said to Shmuel. This is now happening, meaning that it's not necessarily that Shmuel told them to go out to war.
How long is this after the nevuah? Do you know? It could be a while. Like this says they done.
It could be.
Shmuel.
Nachon. We have no idea how much time goes by. Nachon, 100%. And it could be why in Perek Daled we have that introduction. Okay, we're starting a new thing, but you should know it's connected to what we just learned about. In Nachon, 100%. And it could be just, okay, within a few months, it was very clear. Everybody heard he got a nevuah, and now the word is spread, and everybody knew that Shmuel is the nevuah. That could be, okay. And what's interesting is that Mikra says that maybe there's here, it says, Vayitzei Yisrael likrat plishtim. So it's not on October 7th that we were attacked and then we go at them. It's instead, we decided to do this war. If Shar Yisrael, in 4, if Shar Yisrael hem she'orevu et milchama zu, הפלישתים משלו בסוף תקופת השופטים על נחלות יהודה ודן. הלא ידעת כי מושלים בנו פלישתים, that's a quote from Shimshon, ורצו ישראל כי מושלים בנו פלישתים. They wanted to defeat them because they were taking over their land, and they were not torturing them, but they were ruling over them. Now, so Vayitze Israel Likrat Plishtim. Sure.
Is this now, because it's like a completely different element going on, is this like Hashem now trying to show him, I'm going to be with you, but again, like we said before, just to
no,
see?
No.
This is just
Yeah.
they're surrounded.
You're going to see what's going to happen. This is not going to be like the words in Shoftim. This is not Hashem is with Shmuel. Shmuel is not fighting the war. Okay? That's why Rashi fits. It's like there was a prediction to Shmuel, and now you're going to see how it's going to play out. Yes. Okay, so then, first of all, I wanted to show the map. I decided just not to photocopy it just to give you an idea from afar. Here is Even HaEzer, right? That's what they said. That's where Bnei Israel are. And here's Ofek, right? And then, and here they're going to fight. And then, in the end, the Aaron is going to be taken down to Ashdod and to Gat and so forth. So mamash near northern Gaza of our time, like maybe, but maybe a bit further north. And now Even HaEzer, if you look in 3, is actually only called Even HaEzer later by Shmuel when they have another fight with Plishtim and they actually defeat them. And so there it's called Vayikach Shmuel Even Echad V'yasem Ben HaMitzpeh U'Ben Hashem V'yikrat Shma Even HaEzer V'yomer Ad Hena Azranu Hashem. Okay, they're not going to have Even HaEzer here. Like Hashem is not helping them. So apparently we're calling it Even HaEzer Al Shem what it's going to be. Okay, in the future. But at the moment, actually, in the Radak, if you look in 2. כי כשהייתה זאת המלחמה אבן הנגב, okay? It really should be called אבן נגב, הייתה ולא אבן עזר, ועדיין לא נקראה אבן העזר, כי על המלחמה האחרת שעשה שמואל עם פלישתים, בין המצפה ובין השן, שקראתו שמואל, and we just read that פסוק, אבל מה שנכתב הנה, אבן העזר, דברי הסופר הם, that it's going to be called. That's the same place. Like meaning you're going to have 2 wars, this one you're defeated, in the next, in a few parkim, you're going to be 3 parkim, you're going to win. Okay. So vayarchu plishtim likrat Israel, vatitosh hamilchama, vayinagef Israel lifnei plishtim, vayaku b'marcha b'sadeh ke4,000 ish. Okay, so they go to war. And Titosh Milchama is that they're battling, and then Israel loses, and they lose 4,000 soldiers. Okay. ויבוא העם אל המחנה, ויאמרו זקני ישראל, למה נקפנו השם היום לפני פלישתים? ניקחה אלינו משילה את ארון ברית השם, ויבוא בקרבנו ויושיענו מכף אויבינו. Okay. Now in the past, when they've lost, let's say in Pilegesh Bagiva, when they lost, they asked Hashem, what should they do? Here, they're making their own decisions. Nikacha lanu et Aaron.
Did it work in the past?
So in Pilegesh Bagiva, it took a couple of times, but in the end, yes, they did win. But, oh, I see. You're saying they didn't work, so then let's not do it that way.
It's surprising that if Shmuel was recognized by everybody, that the Zkenim aren't going to Shmuel. The fact that people went to the Zkenim, the Zkenim don't go further to Shmuel, they take it on themselves.
נכון, ממש.
What's the precedence to take the Aaron to war?
Okay, so the precedence that they are probably remembering is Yericho, right? They come into the land, and then the Aaron goes ahead of them. They circle it 7 times, and the Aaron is there, and it's part of their battle. Right, the Aaron also standing in the middle, holding, as if causing the Yarden not to fall. So there is a precedent there, but that's before it has a mishkan. Okay, it's actually a complicated thing because there's also in the Torah, it talks about how the Aron went lifnehem. So how did the Aron go? Like, did it really go before them? Because really it's supposed to be part of the encampment. So there's actually a machloket. Like, some people say there even were 2 Aronot. Okay? And Radak's going to talk about it. And then that, or there, yeah. So we'll read it in Radak. So that's a question. Is it? But the real precedent would just be Yericho. And Radak in the end comes to the conclusion: there's one Aron, and you can't say like there's even a midrash that. Okay. Anyway, I'll go into it later. But he says there's one Aron, and it goes out there, and there's another reason that they have this whole thing is that in Dvarim, it talks about how they made a wooden box for the Aron. And then that's not clear because there is the actual Aron. But the machloket starts there. But anyway, many people say there's one, but some people say there's 2. Okay. Okay, so let's just read through. Like the Malbim brings reasons why what's wrong with what they're doing, which in some ways we get them, but it's good to read it. על דבר להילחם שנית, ויאמר זקני ישראל מערי, נתן כמה טעמים למה נלקח ארון האלוקים וייתן לשבי עוזו. In the end of this war, the Aron is going to be taken. Now, how could it be that Hashem allows his Aron to be taken?
Okay. The thing is they're missing the boat. Like, meaning they're using the Aron, but they're not using Hashem. And he has to take away whatever it is that
they're misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And we'll see that that's the next few prakim is this uprooting of this idea that the Aron itself, it's like you need to serve Hashem, and although the Aron is shown to be something very powerful, but ולעתי כולם מבוארים בכתובים, טעם א' of the Malbi. בהיות ישראל אז רעים וחוטאים, עובדי עבודה זרה, ופסל מיכה היה ביניהם. כמו שכתוב, שהתמיד כל ימי היות בית אלוקים בשילה. The first issue is that there's one. Why was the Aron taken? One, they were of day of Avodah Zarah. They were chotim, so they didn't deserve to have the Aron. Okay, that's the first basic thing. Is that what's happening in the people? Bet נמשך, I'm just skipping a little bit. נמשך מהקודם שעל ידי שנדמו כחולה אנוש הבלתי מרגיש מכאוב כלל, וחשבו שהם צדיקים, which I think we saw a lot in שופטים. ולא חשבו להיטיב מעשיהם ולבקש תשועה מהשם, רק אמרו ניקח לנו משלה את ארון ברית השם ויבוא בקרבנו ושיענו מכף אויבינו. חשבו באשר בהכרח יציל את ארון עוזו וישמרהו מיד הפלישתים. Okay, they thought, okay, maybe we're not worthy, but the Aron, it will be, Hashem won't let them take the Aron, so then the Aron will save us. Like, even we don't have to do anything about what we're doing. We have the Aron, we have the magic carpet that's going to save us.
Like you today, I was taking the Sefer Torah and
yeah,
like and treating it so disrespectfully, thinking that this is what's going to do it. And
I mean, I don't know if it's even the disrespectfully. It's it's disrespectful that they're taking it out. Yes, nachon. I mean, the Kohanim were holding it. The Chofni and Pinchas were the ones holding it. But just the fact that they, like you're saying, that's the disrespect. Is the very fact they think they can just bring the Aron and then Hashem will save them. Gimel. חטאו במה שהוציאו את הארון מקודש קודשים בלא רשות גבוה. They also didn't ask anybody. Okay, you're supposed to ask the Kohen Gadol. You're supposed to, or Shmuel, if everybody's respecting Shmuel, like somebody. That's true. That's true. And I mean, I don't know. And it sounds like Eli was pretty passive. Like, even if he thought it wasn't the right thing to do. Nachon. That's true. But they didn't ask Eli, who's the Kohen Gadol, even if it's Chofni and Pinchas, they're not the people in charge. And they didn't ask Shmuel. Yeah. And Dalet Nishba Aaron, okay, we're going to see. Uzzah, yeah.
They move it, and he does.
And then Uzzah dies.
Right.
So
why doesn't that happen here first?
Because Chofni and Pinchas are carrying it. And they didn't take it on. They didn't take it. They might be exactly. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Which, by the way, it was Shevet Kehat. We actually had it in last week's parsha. Was it last week? No, I taught it somewhere else. At the beginning of Bamidbar, Shevet Kehat is in charge of carrying the Aron outside of the thing. But they have the precedent of Yericho, which, if you remember, there the Kohanim held the Aron. Okay? Sometimes the Kohanim do also hold the Aron. They're allowed to. In fact, they're the ones who put on the cover for the Aron in order for the Levi'im to carry it. So the Kohanim have more permissive to carry it than the Levi'im. Usually it's the Levi'im, but here the Kohanim would carry it, but that should be okay. And the fourth is that connecting it to the sin of Chofni and Pinchas. Okay. Now, I just wanted to bring the Radak about this whole thing about one or two Arons and how can it be that they're taking the Aron. Although I first want to read the beginning of Radak because I thought it was really, because it says, did we read this pasuk? Yes, Dalet. Oh no, we didn't read it yet. Okay, we'll read it on pasuk Dalet. We'll continue now. Vaishlach. First, we're reading in the pasukim. Vaishlach ha'am Shilo. ויסו משם את ארון ברית השם צבקות. יושב הכרובים, ושם שני בני עלי עם ארון ברית האלוקים חופני ופנחס. Okay? So they send in this not okay way, they send to Shiloh, and then it's taken, the Aron is taken from there, but it's described as Aron Brit Hashem Tzvakot, okay? Yoshev HaKruvim. Like Hashem who is Tzvakot, who sits between the Kruvim, which maybe is a hint to where it's supposed to be, although the Kruvim come with it, if it's because it's Aron has the Kruvim on top. And Shnei Bnei Eli, and here is where the Malbim says, hinting at their sin.
There's two,
yeah.
It's also, it's as if it's saying that there are two Aronot. One is Aron Brit Hashem Tzvakot,
And the other one is the Aron.
And the other one is Aron Brit Elokim.
Right. Nachon. Unless in this pasuk they're trying to emphasize something, but it's really the same thing. Okay? So that's where we're going to read Radak. But first Radak says, which I thought he says it very nicely, Tam asipur hazeh, lomar ki hu adon hachelot, lahagbir ohavav v'lachlish oivav. Hashem is the Adon Tzvakot, right? He can do whatever he wants. And he's Yoshev HaKruvim. Amar lo dio ki hu karov levnei adam, lechol asher yikreu, and he is there when we call him. Be'emet. Ve'lulei ha'avonot lechol zeh haya nimtza. And he would have helped them, but just their avonot. He can't help them if they're doing the wrong thing. Ve'avonot garmu, meaning the Chofni and Pinchas being there, and the Am is calling it not in the right time. ומפני זה אמר, ושם שני בני עלי עם ארון ברית האלוקים, חופני ופנחס, להודיע כי הם גרמו המכשלה. So first of all, I just thought it was beautiful at the beginning, like, Hashem wants to be there for us. He wants to help the Oavav and hurt our Oivim. However, if you're going to do it the wrong way and there's going to be avonot, he can't do that. Like, even if he is Hashem Tzvakot, Yoshev HaKruvim. Okay? And then he goes into the question about the Aron. והארון זה הוא הארון שבו מונחים שברי לוחות, והוא היה יוצא עמהם, okay, so here he's quoting somebody, one second. והם גרמו למכשלה, כי הם בעובדי עזרא. אוקיי, עמהם למלחמה, והוא שנאמר עליו, וארון ברית השם נוסע לפניהם. ומצאנו מחלוקת בדברי רבותינו ז"ל, בזה מהם אמרו, כי לוחות ושברי לוחות מונחים בארון א', וספר תורה עמהם בארון. Okay, so the first opinion is, Luchot and Shivri Luchot were in one, and in another one was the Sefer Torah, because they say that he wrote a whole Sefer Torah and he put it there. ומה שכתב ושמת אותו מצד ארון ברית השם פירושו ושמתם אותו בארון מצד לוחות ברית השם. ומהם אמרו, so that's one opinion. The second opinion, מהם אמרו כי כמין גלוסקה עשו לארון מבחוץ, I think like a pocket, like a sort of thing around. ושם היה ספר התורה מונח, וזהו שאמר מצד ארון ברית השם. Okay, so there was a little pocket or some sort of extra, what? A shelf, something like that, yeah, around that kept the Aron. I don't know if it's a shelf because it would have fallen any time. Are you looking up Gluska? Okay, good.
What language is Aramaic?
It's Aramaic. That's Aramaic. Oh, you're also looking, Tamar? Oh, so that doesn't make sense. No, there must be another definition. Okay, so wait, I'm going to look it up, Gluska. Okay, I will look it up. Because that can't be what it means here.
But it also could be that there's two ways of looking at the Aron. Like the people saw it as Brit Hashem Tzvaot and the Kohanim.
Avati. Right, nachon. Or that it's saying, objectively, it's Aron Brit Hashem Tzvakot Yoshev Kruvim, and the way they're seeing it is Aron Brit Hashem. Like that could also be, yeah. No, Chofni and Pinchas. Oh, just Chofni and Pinchas. Well, no, what they're saying is that it says Ziknei Israel. They're the ones taking the Aron. They called for the Aron. So there's a problem with the Am. It's not just with Chofni and Pinchas, even though they were really bad.
Really? Yeah.
What, Sefer Torah? A Gluska. Yeah, I'm going to look that up, okay? I'm going to look it up. Oh, maybe the Radak, it's a misinterpretation. Okay, I'm looking that up. I'm going to look that up and I'll get back to you about it. Okay. ומהם אמרו כי בארון אחד לבדו היה ספר תורה מונח, ומהם אמרו כי לשברי לוחות היה ארון לבדו והוא היה יוצא למלחמה. והפסוקים מוכיחים כי הלוחות השלמות היו בזה הארון שהביאו במחנה. שהרי אמר יושב הכרובים. Okay, so Radak says, this must be the Aron, okay? Maybe you could say there's two Aronot. But this is the Aron because it says that they took the Aron Yoshev Kruvim. There isn't a Kruvim if there's another Aron. There's only one Kruvim, okay? מראה כי הכרובים היה עליו. ועוד כי זה הארון שיצא למלחמה, זהו הארון שהיה בבית השמש, בשובו משדה פלישתים, והוא שהיה בקריית יערים, ובבית עובד אדום, ובעיר דוד, ומעיר דוד העלו והכניסו לקודש הקודשים. Okay? So Radak is like, it doesn't make sense to say that this was the replacement Aron. The Aron was Nigla. This is the Aron. Maybe there's an opinion, there's another Aron with Shivrei Luchot, but that wasn't what they took here to the Milchama. Here what they took to the Milchama was the actual Aron. All right. פסוק ה' והיה כבוא ארון ברית השם אל המחנה ויריעו כל ישראל תרועה גדולה ותהום הארץ. Okay? So when the Aron actually comes, there's a big noise that Am Yisrael is like, okay, we've won. Before we've won, we've already won. The Aron is here, we're Truah Gdolah, and the whole Aretz is like trembling. Again, they're attaching something not okay to the Aron, right? That's not Hashem, like Hedi was saying. It's putting it on a pedestal that it's not meant to be. וישמעו פלישתים את כל התרועה, ויאמרו מה כל התרועה הגדולה הזאת במחנה העברים? וידעו כי ארון השם בא אל המחנה. Okay, so the Plishtim understand, okay? They understand that the Aron has come. Now, how much do they know what the Aron is, and how much do they believe in it? I mean, it's clear that they're going to be miaches to it a lot of kochot, and clearly they understand that the Aron represents something that connects to Hashem, and the Hashem that defeated in Mitzrayim, meaning like they clearly know something.
And Yericho as well.
And Yericho and all the nachon, 100%. Just what? The Truah Gdolah, nachon, which is that they use the shofarot. Yeah, nachon. Okay, so I'm just wanted to read the Malbim here. וכאשר בא הארון אל מחנה הריעו תרועת ניצחון, ואשר חשבו כי כמו שניצח את האויבים בעת שנכנסו לארץ וצרו אל יריחו, כן ינצח גם עתה. וגם בזה חטאו, כמו שהעיר הארי, כי במלחמת יריחו ציווה השם בל יריעו ובל ישמיעו את קולם עד עת נפילת החומה. I didn't notice this before, but in Yericho, they weren't supposed to make a noise until the moment that Hashem says that now everybody's Maria together, okay? When the Choma falls, שהוא עד ניצחון. אבל קודם לכן לא יריעו, רק יישאו עיניהם אל השם ולבקש תשועתו מניצר, והם לא עשו כן. So first of all, the fact that they're already Maria is a sign that they're doing something wrong, okay? And the second thing is about the understanding of let's just read a couple more psukim, about the way the Plishtim see this, which is, I love the book of Shmuel, because it so brings out the sides and the psychology of it, like what are the Plishtim thinking, what are we thinking, like it's so rich in understanding. ויראו הפלישתים כי אמרו בא אלוקים אל המחנה ויאמרו אוי לנו כי לא הייתה כזאת אתמול שלשום. Okay? The Plishtim get it. There's something, they know that the Aron is something special and that they're worried. Now, if you're too confident, then you might lose in the war, right? And if you actually are fearful, you might actually win because you are going to prepare yourselves. It's almost here a reversal of what we're supposed to be doing. Like Am Yisrael is supposed to be the fearful one, and here the Plishtim are expressing that fear. אוי לנו מי יצילנו מיד האלוקים האדירים האלה, אלה הם האלוקים המכים את מצרים בכל מכה במדבר. התחזקו והיו לאנשים פלישתים, פן תעבדו לעברים, כאשר עבדו לכם והייתם לאנשים ונלחמתם. Okay, so on the one hand, the Plishtim are showing a big fear, and on the other hand, it's giving them motivation. Like they're saying, well, oy lanu, so let's pull ourselves together. Maybe we can actually fight this God, okay? Elokim adirim. Ah, excellent. Are they seeing this as a gods or as a god? Of the Avodah Zarah. Very good. So exactly. Me'achuz. Okay, so we're going to read now the Radak and the Malbim talking about that point also. Okay, Radak. Adoni avi zal piresh במדבר מין ומדברך הנעלה. וזה פירוש במצוותו ובדברו. Okay, so when it says בדברו היכה במצרים ואתה הוא בעצמו. Okay, so there in Mitzrayim, hamakim et Mitzrayim b'chol makah b'midbar. I think he's saying it with his words. But that here, b'midbar, min umidvarecha. Okay? In Mitzrayim, he attacked them with words. But here, they're being attacked with the actual God himself. Okay? So it's even worse than Mitzrayim. Okay? That's what the Perush of Radak's father. And here, this one I liked. V'divrei Rabbeinu zal irbuvei dvarim ne'emra haparasha. Mi yatzilenu miyad ha'elokim ha'adirim ha'ele ad kan divrei tzadikim shebahem. Some of them understood this is Hashem, and he's scary, and he is the God, or whatever it is. אבל הרשעים היו אומרים, אלה הם האלוקים המכים את מצרים בכל מכה במדבר. אמרו 10 מכות היו לו, okay, and they said 10 מכות היו לו וכולן הביאם על מצרים ושם המכות קילה על עמו במדבר. Okay, he was able to attack in Egypt and in the מדבר. אין לו עוד מכה עוד מעטה, he used up all his כוח. Okay, so we can להתחזק and we can go against it. מעתה אמר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא, אתם אומרים שאין לי מכה עוד? אני מביא לכם מכה שלא הייתה מעולם. Okay, we're going to see later what he gives the Plishtim as a result. Okay? ויש מפרשים מי יצילנו מיד האלוקים האדירים, כי מנהג לשונם היה לקרוא לאלוקים אחרים, אלוהים אחרים, because it's not really אלוהים, לשון רבים. וזהו, and that's what the point that you were making. וזהו שאמרו, מי יצילנו מיד האלוקים האדירים האלה, וכיוצא בדבר, ואתה עייף ויגע על ישראל ולא ירא אלוקים על עמלק. עירובי דברים כתובים כאן, וכן ייתכן להיות כפשוטו. Okay, so either way. They're saying, on the one hand they're saying, either there's both kinds of people here. There are people who recognize who God is, and the people who say he doesn't have koach anymore. Or that they really in general called Elohim in a plural way, and so that's how they talk about gods, and so they're in general Yireh Elohim here. Okay? They're fearing God. Okay. And here, and I also brought the Malbim, לכן אמרו, התחזקו והיו לאנשים פלישתים, כאומר, אל תהיו בהמות, אשר לא יתגברו על בני אלים לעולם. Don't think that you're like animals and you can't fight the gods. רק היו אנשים, be like people. וכוח הנשותם יתגברו לפעמים האלים וכוחות הנשגבות. Right? There's also, in mythology, there's sometimes characters of people who will manage to go against the gods. So here, be like people and we'll defeat this god, even if he is a strong god. I mean, and you realize what a chilul Hashem it's going to be, because they will defeat him, like Kivyachol. They're going to defeat Israel. But there was already a chilul Hashem, because we were being chotim. Okay, so I think we're going to stop here, and we'll get to hear about what happens next week. And next week is our last class, right? Before the break, before next September.
Please find out that word that we
I will. Be'ezrat Hashem bli neder. Heganu lepasuk tet. Pasuk Yud. September, it's going to